It's not too bright, is it? Pretty bright?
That's good.
So Mr. Lees, we're 13 days in. Well, technically this is our 13th ride. How's it all going?
Mate, really well. As far as Dave goes and kilometres travelled, which is all that matters, we're well ahead of schedule at this stage, a third of the way through. We've done over a third of the kilometres required. So that's just a terrific start to the campaign. We've come in against some pretty hot, humid, oppressive conditions up in the Northern Territory and the early part of Western Australia. It's been very hard to rest up during the day, but we're managing, and we're on a good roster system here with the driving. So we're doing our best to push through and give Dave as much support as possible. But look, so far so good. All is travelling well.
What things have you found haven't worked so far?
What hasn't worked? Mate, I don't think nothing hasn't worked. We're trying hard to improve things. I suppose the biggest factor for us for the crew is just trying to manage sleep. Because we've changed routines, instead of day riding and night sleeping, which is what we would normally do, the hot weather forced us to change our routine around. So what we're now trying to do is just manage it so that we're not going to suffer too badly from driver fatigue. So that's something that we're still working on, but we're coming up with some pretty good systems now, I believe, to keep people nice and fresh.
What things have you found on the trip, say, have come up that you wouldn't have expected in thinking about preparations and whatnot?
Well, prior to leaving, I always had the saying, and I said it to David a number of times, is to expect the unexpected, to be surprised by nothing. And I'm glad we've sort of had that theory, because there have been things crop up during this trip that have been a little bit unexpected, such as we were a bit worried there last night. There was a funeral in a local town. We passed through, and we had some reports that there might have been some trouble in town as we passed through, but that didn't eventuate. That certainly was one thing we hadn't considered. Like I said before, just the heat, the flies, just the issues of getting vehicles ahead to fill the ice bath up, having enough water on board. It's things that you think are basic, but because towns and facilities are so spread apart, it's quite a logistical task to make sure we've got all those things on board, but at the same time always ensure that there's a vehicle with David, which is critical. Something I didn't expect was to get into Western Australia and not have a puncture. That's just been incredible. And touch wood, touch anything we've got here, that sort of thing continues. No punctures, and Dave's health is really, really good.
So where are we at the moment?
Mate, we are 115 kilometres just north of Halls Creek. We're on the Great Northern Highway, which we've turned onto today. And basically we're heading south to Halls Creek now. And from there we head west across to Broome. And then from Broome it's straight south all the way down to the bottom of the Western Australian coast.
Very good.
Here we are in the engine room of the Land Rover. It's 2:40 a.m. Sunday the 25th. We're battling on here. We've got Andrew behind us at the moment in Cruiser. Nick's doing the filming here with me. And we've got Reg, Charts and Dad up in front. We're probably about 35, 40 k's until we catch them, and they're up there having a good rest, which is all part of the rotation system I just discussed a little bit earlier just then. So we think we've got things in hand. No doubt things will pop up as we go along. We're only a third of the way through this. We're all feeling pretty tired, but the commitment of this crew is second to none, and we'll get through this. Certainly riding at night's been a big difference. It's certainly been a winner, and it might have been a little bit harder on the crew, but certainly Dave's riding performance has picked up, and I think it's certainly a far lesser toll on his body which makes sense, of course. He's riding in 24 degree heat rather than 44 degree heat, so of course it's going to make a difference, especially over the course of 40 days or so.
So I see you growing a bit of a beard. What's the go with that?
Mate, the go with the beard is basically the beard stays until this is over. Chartsy's joined in, and yourself, and Dave, a bit of a beard growing competition, which tends to happen on these long distance adventures. So we're going to see who can grow the longest, most colourful beard by the end of this campaign.
So we're currently 13 days in. What do you think we're going to look like around, say day 35?
Mate, possibly going to look like genuine cavemen, I'd imagine. We'll be unrecognisable by the time we turn back up to Crockett Park in Woody Point sometime in October.
I have a feeling that Dishy isn't going to like what she sees when she comes back.
Mate, the Dishmeister probably wasn't too impressed when she left us, so I can't see things improving when she gets back. Hello, Dishy. Looking forward to having you back, Dishy.
And what sort of things have we got to keep us occupied on the way?
Mate, I think just the camaraderie of the crew is excellent. Like me, you and Reg and Gary and Dave and Dishy have all been together before, of course, and we had 2 new crew members for the actual race around Australia. David Charter and Andrew Abrahams, who was a late call-up. Andrew's really only here because a guy in Townsville left a radiator cap off his radiator. If that didn't happen, we probably wouldn't have Andrew with us at the moment. But having a couple of fresh faces around has been excellent, and Andrew and David I knew would just fit in really well to this group, and they certainly have done that. So yeah, little things like that, just heaps of music, lots of chat, talking about different statistics and things as we go along, and I think just rotating the crew amongst all the vehicles is really important as well. No one sitting in the same spot doing the same thing hours after hour after hour, which could be an easy trap to fall into, but I think we're maintaining relative freshness by changing things up a bit.
And mate, I myself have had a bit of this, and I know that you have as well. We've come up with a bit of a rash. Do you know what that's from?
Mate, we've come up with a rash, mate. We're having a camp there the other day at a rest area, and woke up and had some bites over me. I think we found some little sand fleas or some little flies of Northern Territory ants of some description that have given a few of us a bit of a bite actually all over, and a couple of mine got a little bit infected today, but thanks to Dr. Cattrall and his
bag of tricks,
very handy bag of tricks, we were able to sort that issue out. So a little bit itchy still, but hopefully nothing major, and it should clear up within the next few days.
One of those curveballs sort of gets thrown into the mix that you just don't really want there, do you?
That's right, mate. No, we don't really want that sort of stuff, but I guess if that's the worst thing that happens to us in a health-wise over the course of the 40 days, well, we're doing pretty well, so we'll take that.
Oh, that's good. We've currently got Dave Alley punching out the Ks. We've just hooked up our system, our amplifying unit, speaker system. We've currently got a bit of, what have we got? We've got Pete Murray playing. I'm not too sure if D. Alley likes a bit of Pete Murray, but he's going to cop it anyway. You might be able to hear a bit of that. So anyone that's on the side of the road at the moment will be copping a bit of Pete Murray as well. And mate, we've come across a bit of traffic hazards on the Western Australian roads. What do you think about the single lane bridges?
Mate, single lane bridges, yeah, so
I think we're coming up to one now.
We're coming up to one right now, actually. It's hard to believe we have a single lane bridge on a national highway, but that's the way it seems to go. Which of course can prove a little bit hazardous when we're dealing with road trains.
As you can see, there's not a lot of room here. Not a lot of room involved on a single lane bridge. So where are we off to tomorrow?
Okay, mate. Tomorrow well, first of all, tonight we should end up somewhere past Paul's Creek. I'm envisaging 30 to 50 kilometres past there, and then tomorrow we'll start to head west over towards Broome, and we'll pass through a place called Fitzroy Crossing, which is quite a large town in Western Australia, and we'll continue to move along towards Broome. When we left this evening, 45 kilometres west of Kununurra, we were exactly 1,000 kilometres from Broome. So over the next couple of days we'll chip away at that 1,000 kilometre trip, and I'm envisaging we'll reach Broome not tomorrow, but the day after that sometime, and I know we're certainly looking forward to a dip in the Indian Ocean once we hit there, so which will be very nice and refreshing, I'm sure.
So various crew members have dealt with the heat in different ways. Your father, in fact, has dealt with the heat in a particular way. I heard he slept in a very interesting place yesterday. Can you tell me where that is?
Yeah, mate. Well, as you know, yesterday was pretty horrendous. We were dealt with 43-degree temperatures during our rest period. The crew, of course, is outside because we allocated the caravan to Dave so that he gets a good rest period. But Dad, being quite inventive and having some old bush skills, I suppose, went and found the showers and actually camped in one of the shower cubicles in there on the tile. So I guess when you think about it, it would be the coolest place with the wet ground and the tiles in there, obviously, and quite dark. So I went up there. I was actually just going up there to the toilet, and I heard a snoring sound which sounded very much like Gary, and there he was. Shower cubicle number 3 was bolted up, and I peered over the top, and there was Dad having a sleep in the shower.
On the King Coil.
On the King Coil. The King Coil had been produced yet again, and he was having a shower, not having a shower, having a sleep in there. And so that's kept him a little bit cool.
Very good. This is a race around Australia. Video cam. Day 13. Signing out.